Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And we are back with our friend Jacob Graves, Visions of Self Mastery. I know it's blessed with dysfunction, but I know we did a title change. So I'll have you introduce yourself to everyone today. It's really good to see you. It's been quite a few weeks.
Yes, yes. It's very good. It's very good to be back, especially talking to you, Joe. I've really missed it.
Thank you. Same here. Pleasure to see you. So, for those new listeners, viewers today, would you mind introducing yourself a little bit to start?
Sure. Yes. So I am Jacob Graves. I've kind of changed my business name. I was Visions of Self Mastery, but I wanted to just simplify it a little bit. So I went with Ascended Mastery. Um, so I I really love nutrition. I really love helping people with their nutrition. I believe that is a very just a very good foundation to have, especially in the context of health. So I've been learning a lot about nutrition. I think it's so fascinating. When I took some time off though, I got I got so sick. I got diagnosed with a autoimmune disease of the peripheral nervous system. It's called Parsons Turner syndrome.
Mm.
Um, so I wasn't in the best place myself. So I had to get myself back to where I
Yeah.
should be. So yeah, but I was still working though, and I was really just trying to define my niche and really trying to figure out how I wanted to help people. Because I realized I was kind of general. So I felt like I could really clamp down on myself, and that's really what I've been doing here recently. So what I've really been thinking about, it kind of came to me very organically, and that's what I really like about this. I was kind of just sitting down one night outside, just enjoying the weather, and it was like it just popped in my head, and it was like you have you've kind of I don't know, I don't want to say struggled, but you have ever since you were, I guess, a teenager, you've been through a
Hmm.
couple different stages of your life, you know, and I feel like in different parts of my life, I kind of adapted to different personalities. And so I really believe that I have truly found myself in my inner nature at this point in my life. I'm 24 years old. So, but it did take me a while, but that's okay.
Hmm.
So I I really want to help the people in between the gray zone. I want to aid in people tapping into their intrinsic wisdom to drive clarity, vision, and fortitude to propel them from who they are in this moment of time and space to who they have the potential to be in this lifetime.
Got it.
So, my a lot of what I do is built off of a phenomenon Carl Jung coined as retrogressive restoration of the persona.
Mhm.
And it's very fascinating to me. I've been kind of stuck on it and not really been able to forget about it ever since I read about it. So, from my understanding, this is retrogressive restoration of the persona broken down. It
Okay.
is a Jungian phenomenon which describes the act of stepping into the gray zone with hopes of creating a new sense of self, a newfound identity. However, the steps to reach your new sense of self are not illuminated. In fact, stepping into the unknown is a shot in the dark. Each step taken should be carried out with the belief and faith that the step taken is a step in the right direction. However, some of us get lost along the way, often leading us to run back to the remnants of our old self with the presumption that things will be the same. Although who you were is not who you are anymore. This house is no home. Your old self provided a faulty sense of safety and comfort in the first place. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sought to obtain a new sense of self. And therefore, your attempt to recover your old way of being and doing doesn't quite work. When you took a leap of faith and stretched the threshold of your being, you learned new things, came to new realizations. The way you perceive and interpret life has completely changed. When life changes around you, the firewalls of your consciousness change. You essentially evolved and integrated the aspects of your being. Your connection with self has been ruptured and you have detached from its core. Now seeing through the mito, a condition of consciousness that keeps you in a perpetual state of concealment. You no longer resonate with your old state of being and doing. You simply do not fit inside the parameter of your former self. your former self, identify with a part of you that has been derailed. Ultimately, to go back to where you once were, you would have to dismantle the newly integrated and enlightened parts of yourself. So to me, that really just means that when you really do stretch the threshold of your being and you go into the gray zone of the uncomfort, that's what I really mean of the gray zone. It's kind of like between point A and B. I feel like that's where a lot of people tend to get lost because it's like they go out and they try to catalyze a new identity or they try to reach a goal that they may be a little confused on. And I think that when sometimes we go out and we're after something, that's when our
Mhm.
brain challenges us. And if we don't have those answers that our brain asks us, it gets kind of scary, you know, and it's kind of like it's very daunting. It can make you really question like why are you doing this? And I found that that's really you have to have the clarity. You have to have that I guess just that I don't know, maybe just the understanding of
Yeah.
what you really are after and why you need to do it. Or why you want to do it at least. So I feel like that's a lot of where people get lost, and I think that's really where I want to come in and help those people define themselves and who they are in this moment in this moment in time, and I want to help them either realize or either just make it clear who they possibly could be. Because I really believe that humans are just scraping by on their potential. I feel like we're so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. So I really just want to bring that out in people, to be honest.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. And by the way, let's just remind everyone, Jacob, how we can reach out to you.
Okay. I'm in the middle of designing a new website right now. So my
I
website,
saw because I checked the other one before I talked to you today, and I know it's the domain's not working right now. So go ahead. What
yeah.
is that?
The best way to possibly reach out to me right now would be my email is VOSM, capital VOSM, and then 835 outlook.com. That would be a good way to reach me. You could reach me by telephone. My telephone number is 502-871-1038. I'm very open to, you know, have Zoom sessions with anybody, telephone calls, email. So any way you guys would like to reach me through any of those, I would love to talk to anybody. So
Got it. Well, perfect. Thank you, Jacob. And for someone who's been through a lot of trauma, a lot, yourself, um, for those that don't know the story, would you mind just sharing a little bit about what happened to you and what brought you to this place in your life? And then we'll continue today's conversation.
sure, yeah. So something that really impacted me was getting into a car accident. It I was driving one night, it was really late, and I had a seizure and ended up hitting a brick wall. And I woke up surrounded by police officers. There was blood everywhere. I had hit my head on the steering wheel, and they were like, I woke up to them, to the police officers ripping me out of the car. And they kind of pushed me on the ground and were just not being nice, to be honest. They thought I was either drunk or on drugs or whatever. And so they made me do all kinds of tests and I was passing some of them, I was failing some of them because obviously I had a concussion and I just came out of a seizure, so I was in an epileptic state, very confused, didn't really know where I was at, what was going on. But and it was like 20 minutes after they were still doing tests on me, and it was like I came to and I realized that I'd had a seizure, and I
Oh,
tried to tell the police officer, and he thought I was making it up. So he was like, "No, you're going to jail. Like you don't really have a choice." He
mm.
was like, "That's don't
Oh
make
my
that up."
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't making anything up. I've had epilepsy since I was I think 17 years old is when it hit me for the first
Mhm.
time. So, um, yeah, so that really affected me. Not only the trauma side of it, but I ended up having a lot of damage to my brain. My
Mhm.
cerebellum, which is controls a lot of like balance and movement and speech type stuff. My frontal lobe, which is your executive functions, my temporal lobe, parietal lobe. So I did a pretty good number on myself, and I've really
Oh,
been trying to wake up ever since then and just really take care of my health and take charge of the seat of my experience. So I really that's I don't know. It's like when that happened, I realized that I did not want to be the victim. I did not want to settle for that. Did not want to let that define my life. So I realized I had to take control of
yeah,
myself and I
yeah.
had to get myself together. So that's what I've been doing for a really long time now. Ever since then, I was 18 when I got in that car accident. So it's
Oh,
been a while, and I feel like I've made up a lot of progress. I've written a book since then. I've went through 2 programs to better myself, a functional medicine program and functional nutrition. And now I'm actually in school for integrated nutrition, which has been a major blessing. I'm so grateful to have that experience. It's been great. With IIN. I'm a wellness and health ambassador for them. So yeah, it's been a really big journey, but it's something that I wouldn't take back for anything because it's taught me so much. It's helped me realize so much about myself, and it's really that event really gave me my purpose. It's like it put me right where I needed to be. It was very weird because it was painful and confusing, but it was almost like it's what showed me the light in the darkness, to be honest. So
well, thank you for being here and now shedding that light on so many other people by you doing what you're doing. And you're standing here with your own platform to help people to let them know it's going to be and it can be okay. And it's really great to have you back here to feel your spirit, your sense of energy. And I've known Jacob for quite some months now, and even though I never met him personally, I feel like I know him. And there's just this great aura spirit around you, which really comes through. And your passion for helping people is just amazing. And could you share some experience about some of the people that you've been working with, talking to, helping them get through what types of traumas, a little bit more about the hands-on work or of how you help people?
So I'm really big into positive psychology.
Hmm.
Really just embracing the positive, flipping things on its back and not focusing on necessarily the problem, but focusing on the opportunity that these hard situations could bring you, what lessons could you derive from that experience? So I really just try to help people see the light and like I said, in the darkness. Because sometimes we do get so focused on the problem of things and how bad potentially could be, but it's like I guess that's just how you choose to see it. But everything is a choice, and we have a choice to make the best out of things. And I feel like life is a lot about experience and learning. So if we have those experiences and we choose to learn from them, that's I feel like that's really one of the biggest things life is about. That's how we integrate our being and our soul, and we keep moving. We don't get stagnant. So that's really what I help people with. I've helped people to, I guess, really just believe in themselves and see how special they are.
Yeah.
I've helped a lot of my family, to be honest. Yeah, I've gotten pretty good about, I guess, helping, just asking the right questions, and helping people to think. That's really what I like to do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I just that that's something that I'm really passionate about is just helping people think, um, and just come to their own realizations. I try not to give people too much of the answers because I feel like that's how people are really impacted is by having that aha moment by themselves, feeling that spark of making their own connection and not just being told what to do. And that's something I try to stay away from is I try not to just tell people what to do. Like I said, I like to give them that moment themselves of, oh, okay, well, he helped me realize this, but I did it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's true. And the work you're doing, you're based out of where, by the way? Just to remind us.
Frankfort, Kentucky.
Perfect. All right, good. But you're working with people all over, which is the beauty of this virtual world and something really good to come out of the pandemic and COVID, right? That we're able to reach so many more people in this need. I mean, whoever would have thought that this would even be possible? But
I know.
it's
It's
great.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And question, you usually also you talk about um was it not you don't do you have a YouTube channel? See, it's been a while have I talked to you. YouTube channel
Um,
or Facebook group, something that you do once a week?
no,
No,
no.
okay, I have the wrong person. I apologize. But
No,
I
that's
know every
okay.
time we talk, you usually have an agenda of, something to make people feel good and to talk about. And in the realm of the things right now, in a sense, where the world is, fall's here, different change of season. And it makes us feel different. I think our energy gets lower. I think a lot of people go to a little bit of a depression over the, fall and the winter is right. Any advice for people out there who are now, experiencing this or, with the change of seasons, how do you feel and how could you help people?
So I deal with seasonal depression myself. I
Mm-hmm.
find that when it gets cold, I don't like to go outside as much because I can handle the cold. I actually really like the cold, but it's when the wind comes with the cold that it really messes with my nerves and my condition. So it causes me a lot of pain. So I tend to really become very like a homebody during that time. And I realize I don't get enough sunlight. I don't get enough vitamin D from that. So my depression levels are pretty much just skyrocket. So something I do is use lights. There's so many different lights you can get that actually kind of imitate the sunlight,
Yeah.
and they actually give you those chemicals that the sunlight does, which is pretty cool. I found that eating seasonal foods really helps. So eating foods that are more produced in the season that we're in, like now would be a good time to eat things from the ground. So yeah, like potatoes, let's see, sweet potatoes, yams would be really
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Just all just and
I just bought sweet potatoes last week at the grocery store. My son, who's 5, had his first one
oh
maybe like 3 weeks ago. He was like, these are so good. And then, of course, I told him you can eat the skin. That's more the nutrients. And he didn't know because it looks
yeah.
dirty. So kids are scared. He's like, this is good, even though I loaded it in butter. But yeah, I agree. I love that.
Yeah. Something else I've learned is to eat the spectrum. Eat the spectrum of colors. The more colorful your plate
Yeah.
is, better you're gonna feel, and the more nutrients excuse me, the more nutrients you're going to derive from your food, and it's beautiful. You can put a lot of intent into your food that way. You can put a lot of love into your food that way, and really take pride in what you make. It's just when you look down at your plate after you're done cooking or preparing whatever, it's just like, wow, this looks nice, and you enjoy eating it. So that's
Yeah.
something that I've found is um, start cooking more at home and maybe turn on some music that you enjoy. Just get with your family or friends, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be a special time. So make sure you do still have a little connection in your life. Don't isolate yourself too much. I know it can be very easy to do that, but it's not good for your health. It's really not. So
No.
um, I've really taken strongly to the practice of Tai Chi and Qigong. I love that. It's like a moving meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it really helps me personally align with myself and with I guess my energy. And it just makes me feel very alive. So you have to figure out where your flow is at. What you have to spend time in that too. Figure out where your flow is and spend time in it. Do what makes you happy and get in that rhythm that I don't know, just it's almost like you're working without thinking or you're doing without thinking. And I think that's really good for you. So let's see here. Um, make sure you're exercising. Make sure you're sweating a little bit. So
Okay.
another thing is you can support anandamide, which is like the bliss chemical in your brain. And you can do that by eating high quality dark chocolate. That
Mm.
also gives you dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. Those are all the feel good chemicals. So that's a really good thing to do. So let's see what else. I don't know. I've been studying connection a lot, and I found that connection is very fascinating in the way it affects us. And so I don't know, maybe now would be a good time to reach out to some old friends or some people you haven't talked to, or even to, get on some social media site and try to meet some new people. Um, the mind appears to be designed in a way where its nature is involved in repairing and recovering the connection with someone that is similar to whom the original connection was ruptured.
Yeah.
Connection with others is essential on many levels, friendship, romantic, professional. So I don't know. It's the lack of connection actually it causes a quinine to be produced in your body. It's called a tachykinine, and it causes like anger and isolation, like further isolation, further detachment from yourself. So just make sure you guys are reaching out to everybody, even if it's you have a phone call every Monday or every Friday with a friend and you guys talk for 20, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're getting that connection and just do some things for yourself, just really try to hone in and get to know yourself a little bit more. Do those hard
Self-care.
Yeah, self-care. That's
Hey,
something I've really
I'm
been embracing.
I'm going to get my nails done today. I'm feeling so good
There
about
you
it
go.
because yeah, I just had it. It's time. Used to go like months without it, and then I did it a few weeks ago, and it just makes me feel better. So
There you go.
anything
Yeah.
little like that, it's important. I agree. Why not?
Yeah, and people don't realize like what self-care, I don't know, there's so many ways you can practice self-care.
Yeah.
Like I've started to do dry brushing when I get out of the shower on my nerves and on my skin to really help circulation and just my nervous system. And it is something that I really, really enjoy now. And I see that as self-care. So it can be as little or as big as you want it to be. You can absolutely go out and get a pedicure, manicure. You can do the spa type thing, or you can have those little practices at home within your daily schedule, like taking
Yeah.
a little mindful meditation every every so often throughout your day, just to reconnect with yourself. So that's really important, and just being nice to yourself, watching your self talk, your those voices inside of your head that just, I don't know, might not be so nice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So just watch how you talk to yourself, watch what you believe in, and especially about yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. It's just to try to give yourself a little grace and just try not to be so hard on yourself. Try to enjoy the small aspects of life because I find that's really where the beauty comes in.
Oh, it's so true. You're right. It's the little things. And, I was involved in a small accident last week. My
Mm.
boyfriend was driving, kids were in the car, everyone's buckled in. And I still blame myself for it. I was the passenger, but my son he doesn't eat regular food like normal people. He couldn't go to the hibachi steakhouse. So I said, all right, we'll get you McDonald's or something afterwards. And I turned to him and I said, he's in the back seat. I said, so what do you want? I said, we'll stop. Do you want McDonald's? Do you want mommy to make you nuggets when we get home? He's like, oh, I'd like Dunkin' Donuts. And he said it. I looked to my right and I don't know this area well. I'm like, oh my God, that's a Dunkin' Donuts. So my boyfriend was just following my lead and he turned the car to go get it and then
Right.
clipped the car in front of him. So they were involved in like this little accident. And as scared as my niece was in the car too, it was fine. We stopped, took care of everything. But there was damage to our car, but it wasn't severe, but it was a great lesson. And
There you go.
I keep talking about it because accidents happen and
They do. They do.
it's the value of life. I mean, and then I see an accident yesterday where there was casualties close by to my house and I'm like showing my children, see this accident, see this. This is what could happen. We were very lucky. We were spared. Learn to appreciate the little things in life.
Yes.
Don't be, my mom is asking you to put the seatbelt on, do it. Like appreciate it. Like just enjoy your life each and every day to the fullest because you just never
Yes.
know. And little lessons like that, like I find teaching my kids, but I'm also teaching myself. And I feel like as adults, we don't think about those things enough. We don't, and we take things for granted, and it's really a shame. We should really just be grateful that we wake up, get to smell the air every day, get to
Yeah.
feel just the little thing, put our feet on the ground, I'm able to touch, smell, hear. It's like, be thankful. We have eyes, we could see, we could hear. Like, these things are just so simple that we take for granted sometimes.
Yes, definitely. I'm so glad that everybody was okay in that accident you had, and that's actually a very good way to look at it. That you shouldn't blame yourself because small things do happen, and that you guys are just so blessed. And I know you're so grateful to have came out of it and just been all intact, and nobody was hurt. Everything was okay. So I'm very glad to hear that. Definitely.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And one other thing that, if you don't mind me mentioning, I just feel like with fall being here, you become
Mhm.
more thankful. You have Thanksgiving next month, and that's the month that everyone starts thinking about others in need and food pantries and donating clothes. And I wish we thought about it more regularly on a regular basis. But I called a local homeless shelter the other day. The woman called me back this morning, and I want my kids to go there and donate all their clothes. And at the same time, there's privacy issues because some kids get bused from the homeless shelters to like my kids' school, so that the kids don't want to see and be embarrassed. But she says, if you come during the day, take them out of school. I'll show you. I'll bring to show them the shelter. I'll let them appreciate it, and have my
Yeah.
kids bring their clothes that they used to wear and feel proud to know that they're helping someone. It's just this
All right.
time of year where I feel we really need to give. We need to just remind everyone to be thankful and grateful. We have food on our table. We have clothes. Not everybody does. So
Yeah.
do something to make somebody's day easier, make them smile. And that's my motto.
Yeah.
And really, yeah. And that's what I get from you, because that's how you are as well. You're a giver, and I hope our listeners can appreciate some of this conversation today.
I do too. I know I very much enjoyed it, and that was very beautiful. That was definitely you. Have really inspired me because I have a lot of clothes that I feel bad because I don't want anymore, but I'm so grateful to have an abundance of clothes. But
Yeah.
it's like now I know you just gave me the idea that I can absolutely donate them to some
And,
charity,
and,
whether it
and
be an
but see,
adoption agency
yes,
or
but do it in person, because this is my problem for the past few months. I'm feeling where I get cards in the mail. We could pick up your donated clothes for like the VFW.
Mm.
You can bring them to Goodwill. I called a Goodwill store, but everybody says be careful. Not all the clothes go there, and then they go on this on sale. Some of them for like the thrift shop, but people who really need them are not maybe not getting them. If you go to
Sure.
a shelter, there's people that live there on a daily basis that hands on are going to be able to touch these clothes and get them for free. So that was my issue all these months. I really felt like, how do I know where my clothes is going? And then you hear about there's some people out there, because I did a lot of Googling, that actually take your clothes and they're selling it to other people. Like, I don't want that happening. I want to make sure it's given to someone. But yeah, so good idea for everyone today. Thank
Yes,
you.
that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Fully support that.
Good. Well, Jacob Graves, remind us how we can reach out to you, and thank you for having this discussion today.
Of course. So you guys can reach out to me at my email, which is capital DOSM 835 at outlook.com. Or you can also reach out to me through telephone, which is 502-871-1038. And I would love to hear from anybody who would like to talk, chit chat, whatever, inquire about working with me, anything. I'm giving like free consultations, health histories right now. So if
Great.
anybody would like to just get together and see what it's like, I would absolutely love it. And I really encourage you to reach
Perfect.
out.
All right. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Looking forward to hopefully we'll get together again soon. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Of
Take
course.
care. Thank you so much.
Have a
Have a
great
great
day.
day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.